Okay, we're back for part 6 of the scx10 dingo build, and what we have next is to start putting the body parts together. So we'll have to actually cut the body out. We got the roll cage assembled, and basically this is a complete rolling chassis, and like I said, everything turns real well. This is just a 65 turn motor, so it's pretty tight. The good news is it ought to be its own drag brake at least. Alright, so what we're going to have to do is we get the body, and there's a lot of different ways to cut these out. Of course, we'll be using the curved scissors, and what I like to do is I'll grab one of my razor knife kits and I'll score these lines, especially around the wheel wells. And the way this one looks, there isn't any real big detail as far to go around. The dingo's quite boxy, so we might even be able to score this whole thing with a razor knife, and just, you know, you take your scissors, then you cut to where you're scored, and you can just almost peel it all the way around. So give me a minute to get this body part done, and we'll go from there. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and what I've done was I've taken this razor knife and you score all the way around your body lines there. And the reason I haven't popped it off yet is I wanted to show you one little trick that a lot of these bodies are doing now, and it'll make it easier on you in the long run. I don't know if you can see this. Let me put this behind, maybe this will help. On that body, you see those round dents? There's a little indentation right in the middle, and if before you cut that off, you can take your body reamer and ream those out, which I've already scored it, so I don't think it's going to let me. You can ream those out, and you can get a nice round hole. You can get a nice round hole before you do. Now I've scored right through the middle of them, so it's not going to let me do it, but if you do it ahead of time, it'll be real nice to get. You see with the way that was scored, see, it'll pop right through where I scored it, and you get nice clean lines. And you see there, and it comes apart pretty easy. Alright, and the one thing you do need to watch out is this plastic gets pretty sharp when you do it that way, so you'll need to clean it up with a knife, of course, but just take your time, and you can peel this right off. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. When I was going to show you, I got this sitting here so you can see it pretty good. If you use the razor knife and you get a nice good score, boom, see? You can take this whole thing apart without even cutting the sides. So a good brand new sharp razor blade will clean that up for you, and you get nice clean lines, and your body's cut out. Alright, so the next thing, I'm going to go around here and see if I need to take a little piece of sandpaper or something to the edges, clean it up, and finish cutting out these little holes. I think these are for the bumper. So let me get that done, and I'll be right back. Okay, now with the body all cut out, the next step they're wanting us to do is to put the fenders on. And it does look like there's a front and rear. So the front are number 3 and the rear are number 1. Yeah, the rear, yeah, they're directional. Alright, so I'm going to start with this front fender. And let me get all the plastics off and the screws. It looks like we're going to have to. The good news is they do have the little bumps where you got to put the holes. So it ought to make it real easy for the reamer to go through. And if you get a real good reamer, it's got a real sharp point on the end there. And it'll do a fairly small hole. So these are the screws we'll be using. So I'm going to go through here and drill out each one of these holes and make sure the screw fits through. And we'll start putting the fenders on. And then let me get, like I said, let me get this apart and I'll be right back. Okay. We're back. What we've done is we've took our reamer, went through and did these holes. Then I always go through the back side and do the holes from the back side too. And what that'll do for you is it'll clean off the slag off the other side of where you were reaming the holes. And I try to get as much of that off as I can, so it doesn't get in the way of anything else. Now what we'll do is take some of these little screws. I'm going to start in the middle, and you take the back half, which I think these things here are going to come off. Sorry for being all hands here. This part will go here. Grab the little 1.5. I'm going to screw mine in about halfway, being I don't want to strip out these plastic threads. So. And I know the body isn't painted yet, of course, but I like to build mine as much as I can because it's a lot easier to drill any holes through the clear plastic than it is to try and get them to go through after you've painted and hoping that you got everything right. At least with the clear plastic you can see to line your body post up and things like that if you need to do any adjusting. And then it's just as easy to take it right back apart. And once you have it back apart, you can just tape off your holes that you've used and go ahead and paint it up. And this way you make sure that you got the body all fitting correctly before you, because once you've got it painted, you ain't got a lot of room to adjust anything. You can't really see if you need to go to the left or the right. Let's see here. Just mix it up here. It looks like there's a lot of bolts in here, but technically there's only 5. But if you look at the fender, you would think it's got bolts all the way around. So it's a pretty nice look. pretty nice look. You try to keep your holes in the body as small as possible too, where they just will fit the screws for the most part. And once you've done that, it won't you don't have to worry about trying to make sure you got the fender lined up. And got back out of the camera again, didn't it? We got be careful. Some of these fake screws look so realistic. I almost stuck my wrench. The funny part is the wrench will fit right in them, so you don't want to grab the wrong screw and tighten that thing up and strip the look of the fender out. Okay, and here's the front fender. God, I love that. That's gonna look great. Oh yeah, that's gonna look good around them tires. Alright, well, I'm not gonna bore you with putting the rest of them on. I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera, and then we'll get to our next step. Okay, let me finish that up and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. We got the body trimmed up and the fenders on. The next thing it wants us to do is to put the cage on. Excuse me. The roll cage sits in here like this. Okay, so it looks like we just need to pop some holes in the middle here. There again, I like to have the cage on so I can see exactly where the hole is. I get it started, and I can take the thing back off and go through the top. All you really need to do is get it going, then you'll know you'll be in the middle of the cage, so you don't have to keep the hole as small as possible. You don't have to worry about it wiggling around. Alright, so we'll make these holes big enough to work with the screws we're supposed to have here, which is this one here. So Alright, so I'm gonna go through and do the rest of these holes, then I'll be right back. Okay, see you in a minute. Okay, well, we got the holes done into the body, and what they want you to do next is get these washers here. I just trim them off. Then you start screwing the post down. Take a 2mm driver. Screw those in. There again, I'm just lightly snugging mine up because I got to take it all back apart to paint it, but I like to get everything lined up real good. I did the back last because it was the only spot that wanted to keep jumping out from the body. And the front two set in real easy. If I set the back one in first, then all four of them up front wanted to jump out. So figured we do it last and it'd be a little easier, and it managed to work. They're staying in now. Let me get these on. Body's pretty simple. Use a few of my tricks. It makes it real nice. I'm sure I'm not the only one to come up with it. I've been doing RCs a long time, so I don't know who actually showed me on the bodies, but they do work better if you razor knife it. And there's the roll cage and the fenders. Next we'll be mounting the windshield and the body post. So let me get that out and I'll be right back. Okay. I got the holes drilled in the windshield. I still got to drill them in the body, but I don't know if you can see. You see how the two holes are, and the holes that you got to drill in the body. Well, according to the picture here, they want this thing, just back, they want this thing sitting with this hole down here. Well, the problem being is that your holes don't line up, and if you stuck two screws here, you'd only end up with one in here and the other screw would be sticking up. So I think it's a small type of typo, because if you put it in that way, it fits perfect, and when you set it on the windshield down, the two screws will go through the body like it's supposed to. So I think that's just a little faux pas on their part on the body, because they got these stops going up and down, and see, you can't go through the body with it, so it's got to be a little typo, and it fits perfect like this. So I'm guessing this is the way it goes, and this is the way I'm going to do it, at least. But I thought I'd point that out so everybody could see. See, when you got the two screws, they'll go through here, and this thing will sit sideways, not straight up and down, and bolt on. They might have changed the design after the fact and didn't catch the instructions. So alright, now I'm going to bore the holes in the body real quick, and then I'll be right back. Okay, now we got the holes in the body. I'm going to put the screws through. Go on the bottom, take this little piece, which I'm most likely going to have to use some pliers because it gets pretty tight up in there. Can't seem to hold on to nothing anymore. that little bracket on, so you got to kind of tighten it back and forth, back and forth. There again, we're just snugging up. Okay. See this out of the way. Alright, just snug them up. Now it's got to come back apart. Now there's the windshield on there. Now of course you need to paint this thing. And the outer rim here on mine's going to be painted, just the windshield part will be clear. That way it'll match the body. And the nice thing too is if it gets on your nerves later, you can always just take it off. Okay, the next thing they want you to do is put your body post in. So let me get them and I'll be right back. Okay. So we'll get the body out of the way for just a second. Bring the roller back over. And what they want you to do is just put your pins in here, and you'll put one right through this little slot and hold her down. So what I'm going to do is just set it on the very top one for right now, until we figure out how high the body needs to be. To me, that just seems to be the easiest thing to do. I'm sure it's going to be high, or at least it'll be high for my taste. I prefer to do to get the body as low as I can before the wheels start rubbing the wheel wells. And then once we got these in, we'll set the body on top here. It's got little marks for your your holes to sit. At least we know all the wheel wells line up. Alright, so all I got to do now is take the body reamer again and make sure I can get the holes to fit, and I'll most likely use one of my older, I've got all kinds of these axle parts because I've had so many axles, and these are all the same, so I'll just take one of these, drill out the holes in the body for the pegs to sit in, and we'll go from there. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, so we got the front holes in, and I still need to put the back holes in, but that'll be pretty much it. After that, it's just putting the body pins on the outside. So that's all I'm going to do on this part of the build. I got to take the body back apart to do the painting. So when I take this cage back off, I'm going to drill in my holes through the top because it'll be a little easier. Myself, I prefer pins. I've tried some on the sides to try and make it look better, but 90% of the trucks that I get, I like to put the Y piece for links here, and I make it into a tow bar. I just like the looks of it. And then if I'm out on the trail and I got a couple people and something happens to mine, I can always tow it behind somebody else. So that'll be it for this part of the build. Next time we're going to paint the body, and of course I'll have this all fitted on back then. So we're going to paint the body, put it back together, and that should be a finished product. Also, I think my next video, I got a few parts in that are ready for the upgrade in some of this, so I'll show you them on part 7. Okay, until next time, thanks for watching, and please subscribe, like, and comment. Good or bad, I'm grown, I can take it. Hopefully it's good, and hopefully I help somebody. So till the next time, see you on the next episode.